Alright, let's go over to the nav station here a little bit and start with the panel. The first row of switches on the left, as you can see, are lights. You got the navigation lights, mooring lights, steaming light, deck light, cabin lights, salon lights. Since you're not going to be sailing at night, these are the two most important. And instrument lights, you're not going to need. And a cockpit light, you're going to want that. Cockpit light really just, gives power to this cigarette lighter. Right now I have the cockpit light plugged in. Just flick it on like that and on she goes. Let's take a look at the switches on the right hand side. Water pump. It's not a bad idea when you're leaving the boat and you're going to be gone for a while to turn it off. If the system should spring a leak, it would just pump water out of the tank into the boat. Refrigerator. You can leave it on all the time. As long as you've got sun or wind, the panels of the wind generator will keep the battery charged. This comfort, which is a French word, I'm not sure why they say comfort, it is used to power the sump pumps that are located in the heads. They're used when you're going to take a shower in the head and the floor fills with water. You can pump the water out. Central navigation, that fires up the autopilot and the wind instruments and the depth gauge. The VHF, it's the main switch for the VHF, which is right over here. And to power it on here, you just hold that switch down and it automatically comes on and defaults to channel 16. You can change the channel here. And volume is right here, squelch and volume right here. So let's just turn that off again. Also, the VHF gives power to the CD player, CD record, CD radio and auxiliary. So to switch between one or the other, if you're going to put a CD in, all you have to do is put it in. There's probably one in there right now. No, I guess not. Well, you just slip the CD in this little slot here, and it'll automatically go to CD. But if you want to go to auxiliary, and auxiliary powers this cord right here, and you can plug in your laptop, your iPhone, your iPad, whatever. But to get to auxiliary or to radio or to CD, you can hit this source button right here. See, it says tuner, that's now radio. Hit it again, CD. Hit it again, auxiliary. And auxiliary is what, nowadays what most everybody is using. Down below here for short power, you have, don't bother with these two switches here. These are obsolete. Okay, don't have a 220 volt refrigerator anymore. We now have the 12 volt refrigerator, which, by the way, I mentioned here. Generally what you do is turn it off at night. It only draws about, as you can see right now on the amp meter, we're drawing about 5 amps. It doesn't draw a lot of power, but at night, if there's no wind, the battery, it could kind of drain the battery, and so it's a good idea to turn it off at night. Just leave it on all day. So first thing in the morning, turn it on. Last thing in the evening, turn it off. At short power, battery charger on 220 volt outlets. All over the boat there are 220 volt outlets. In case you have something that operates on 220, you can use that. Let's see here, under the nav table, a couple things here. There's the manual for the chart plotter. Also, this little tool here, I use this to open up the diesel tank cap. In fact, I'll leave it out and I'll show that to you. And over here we have the panel for the wind generator and for the solar panels. If you want to turn the wind generator off for whatever reason, if you think it's making too much noise, what have you, you just flick this switch down here. Never turn off the power to the wind without first turning the wind generator itself off. Okay. And up here on this LED screen, it switches from, right now that's voltage, that's amps that are being supplied to the battery, that's the voltage again, back to amps, and back to voltage. You also have the voltmeter up here, which you got this little switch here. You can check either battery, make sure that they're in the green. Okay. Take a look here. We have this power strip here. Power strip is 110, and it's run by a pure sine inverter, 300 watts, right there. I just leave it on all the time. It's really heavy duty, but if you want to turn it off for whatever reason, the switch is right there, and off it goes, and turn it back on again. And then there's a switch here on the power strip itself. Let's see. Okay. Now this power strip and inverter system is really only for charging iPhones or phones, laptops, things like that. You can run your laptop on it, but no hair dryers or anything like that. It's only 300 watts. So now there's also a backup inverter in case this one malfunctions or fails, and it's right back here. And if that happens, you simply unplug it here, and it plugs in right down here. And to power that inverter, you can see right here the switch here, second inverter, turn that on. That turns that inverter on, which is plugged in right here at this cigarette lighter. Okay, so I talked about central dump, VHF, second inverter, and chart plotter. This is the main switch for the chart plotter. You have to turn that on first before you can get power to the chart plotter. Okay, so let's go on over to the starboard berth. Take a look at some circuit breakers. Right here we have the main battery switches, the black and two red ones there. Probably not going to need to play with those. This here may come into play. This is the circuit breaker for the windlass, and if it's popped, it looks like that. You got this little thing sticking out here. You just push it back up, and it's powered back on. And then over here we have two circuit breakers. One is for the winch, so if the winch is not functioning, this circuit breaker here is probably popped. And the other one on the right hand side is for wind. Just briefly, this silver knob over here, you pull it out, this little light goes on, push it in. Leave it in all the time unless you go to start the engine and the battery's dead. By pulling this knob out, you can use the house batteries to start the engine. The reason you don't leave it out is because if the engine battery is dead and you leave that out, it's going to draw power from the house batteries, and they'll soon be dead too. So you just pull it out to start the engine. If the engine won't start on the engine battery, and by pulling it out you can start it on the house batteries. Okay, now I'll just briefly show you the reason I have this tool, these needle nose pliers to unscrew the diesel tank cap, is because I couldn't find the exact right tool to do that with. So it's pretty simple. You take the needle nose and just stick it in the two holes there outside the star, and just turn like that. It's easy enough. And I just keep it under the nav station table. The other thing is the cockpit light. Right here, it hooks up right here. There are also a couple switches here on top. One side is to turn it off and on, and the other side is to cycle it from red, yellow, blinking red, blinking yellow, etc., etc. So, and then that finally what I always use is just the solid white. So that's pretty much it for the nav station, and some of the other switches. I think that pretty well does it.